Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I've got a Volvo V60 R Design NAV T4 to show you, which I'm quite excited about, just taking it into stock. So we'll start with the exterior. This is finished in metallic onyx black. It's a very pearlescent paint code that Volvo used, and I've got to say I think it looks pretty striking in this colour. Being the R Design NAV, you do get the different coloured wing mirrors. There are a few manufacturers that do it. For example, the BMW M40, etc. They all have the different colours. So this is just Volvo's take on it. It's got the LED running lights just down there. It's also got some rather nice 18-inch alloy wheels that it sits on too. But again, I think it's a very good-looking, sporty estate, if there is such a thing. And from the rear, again, keeping with that sportiness, really. You've got the twin-port exhaust, one either side, which is quite nice with a bit of a sporty diffuser. Obviously, the rear lights, they're quite iconic across the Volvo range. They've all got that nice LED filament to them. But yeah, that's a very good-looking car, in my opinion. So then guys, you're joining me in the Volvo V60 that I've just shown you around in the showroom there. This one, as I mentioned, is the R Design NAV with the T4 derivative engine, which is a 2-litre, 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine. Produces a very nice and comfortable 190 brake horsepower. It's paired with the 6-speed manual gearbox in this particular car. You can, of course, get the 6-speed automatic transmission. I think it comes down to a personal preference as to whether you like the manuals or the autos, and as much as I love an automatic transmission, I still think the manual works in this car. It's finished in the metallic onyx black, which of course I've shown you around the exterior, but the interior has got this lovely Alcantara and leather finish on the seats. I'm personally a big fan of it. As much as the Alcantara isn't quite so easy to keep clean, it's also not quite so brutally cold on those cold mornings, and it doesn't get searingly hot on a hot summer's day. So I quite like an Alcantara seat, and of course you can still get the heated seat functions, and on a miserable day like today you can bet that I've got my heated seats on. In terms of more about the vehicle, so this one here is a 2017 67 plate. This particular one's only had 2 owners from new, and it has only done 19,000 miles, which of course is relatively low mileage. So as you can imagine, everything is looking very fresh within the cockpit, and you can imagine as well everything is relatively close by. You've got your window switches and your mirror adjustments on the door card over here. You've got your light adjustments and everything down here, of which you can do your dial brightness, and then obviously you've got your 0 to 4. The 0 to 4 is only on these type of headlights. If you go for xenons or LEDs, it does away with that because they're self-adjusting. It also has a really smart digital dash in this particular car. You can change your themes, so you've got an elegance theme, an eco theme, and also a performance theme. And when you change those themes, it supposedly changes the output of the car as well. I'll be honest, I've not really noticed a massive difference by going through the different modes, but it is quite a cool thing to have. So in elegance, it's a nice dark blue, as you would imagine. With eco, it brightens everything up. It changes the digital dials to give you like an eco guide as well. So it's telling you how economically it is that you're driving, whether you should be moving up or down a gear or releasing off the throttle a little bit to achieve the same result. And then of course you've got performance, and the performance side of things, you get nice deep red dials. It changes the screen over here as well. Rather than obviously having the eco side of things, it gives you a power band, and that power band, it's more a gimmick than anything, but you put your foot down, it obviously goes up that power band. It's quite a nice thing to have. Moving on to the switches and everything around here, very nice finish, I have to say. You've got nice chrome surrounds around the buttons, around the dials and things like that. It looks to be almost like a textured finish on here. You've got plenty of storage space everywhere throughout. Everything seems relatively easy and relatively intuitive in the sense of your dual climate control are controlled by these 2 dials here. Your seat heating button is on that control. You can obviously select buttons here, so I'm pressing nav, it'll take me through to the map on the screen, and then this one here will do the zoom, etc, etc. There are quite a few different extras that you can get with these cars. The R Design is, as I say, like a cosmetic specification. But you can then obviously have our design nav, which this one here is, and it comes with the satellite navigation, and then you can have more extras on top of what that is. So the extras that this one in particular has, it's got the keyless entry and the keyless start. So the key is actually here. I've not actually plugged it in, so should it be in my pocket, I can open and unlock doors. I can also lock the car again, start the engine, as long as you've got obviously your foot dipped on the clutch, etc. as well. It's quite a nice feature to have. I quite like it. This particular one also has the front and rear parking sensors. You can also get a reversing camera too. That sits in the boot just under the tailgate like most cars do. You get an optical display of the sensors, and what I quite like about Volvo, which Mercedes also do but BM and Audi don't, is if you're getting particularly close to something whilst parking and you've not put it in reverse yet, your front sensors will still come on. They'll still notice if you're getting too close to something, and it'll show you the optical display on here. So if there's a curve that's too high or anything like that, you will be able to pick that up on. So Volvo staying true to their word that safety is a big part of it. And a lot of the older Volvos, I've driven a lot of the older Volvos, they feel very heavy, tank-like, which is great because you do feel like you are on a solid piece of engineering. You still get the feeling that it's really solid. You still get the feeling that, you know, you are in a very safe car. But it doesn't feel quite so heavy, it still feels quite light. And I think that also comes with the engine as well. So the engine being a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol rather than their 5 cylinders, which Volvos are very well known for, it kind of reduces the engine noise. It's a very quiet cabin within, and I would say a more enjoyable drive than what the D5 engine would have given you. You know, cue the comments of saying that the D5 is the best one to go. I'm not saying it's a bad engine, I'm just saying they've moved with the times and I quite like it. So let's talk performance and economy reference this vehicle. As mentioned, producing 190 brake horsepower out of its 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine. I think that's a very capable number, don't you? Paired with the 6-speed gearbox, again, good fun to have. It's £165 a year to tax this vehicle within the UK, and Volvo reckon that you could probably get close to 60 miles to the gallon out of it on a long run. I would always take these figures with a pinch of salt, as most manufacturers you kind of have to. Doing the journey that I'm doing today, which is back roads or country roads, whatever you'd like to call them, I'm averaging 38 miles to the gallon. I'd probably say that if I was to be doing a motorway run, you know, sitting on the dual carriageway and whatnot for 70 miles, I probably would hope to achieve probably, you know, 50, early 50, something like that. So getting close to 60 I think is pretty optimistic, but it is a good engine. As mentioned, it's already quite a quiet ride and everything like that, and the manual gearbox is good fun because if you drop the gear, yeah, it's got plenty of punch there. It's actually quite surprised me a little bit. And of course, sticking well within the speed limits for these roads. But yeah, I mean, it's a good fun car to drive, it's fair to say. The R design has slightly stiffer suspension than what you get on a Lux or an SE Nav or something like that. You do feel a few more of the bumps in the road, but it's not necessarily uncomfortable. If it was slightly stiffer, then I probably wouldn't enjoy it quite so much. But you can, you know, you can dig it into the corners and kind of have faith that the car is not going to understeer dramatically. But again, it all depends what you want from an estate car at the end of the day. It offers huge practicality. I think it looks fantastic. All the comfort features that you'd want within here of a nice quiet ride, and it's still pretty good fun to drive. So I think, you know, it all depends what you want from the car. I certainly wouldn't write the R design out of it just because it's a little bit stiff. But you know, people's preference, that's all it is. So back from the road review, of which you can see it's all been cleaned and air dried, so it's looking good in the showroom again. I just wanted to go over a little bit more of the practicality of the vehicle. So I thought first of all I'd show the boot. It's an ample sized boot with the seats up. It's 557 litres of boot space. The only thing I would note is it's quite a high loading area in the sense of it doesn't drop into the boot, but you know, certainly not too bad for this size of estate. And with the seats down, you get a whopping 1,241 litres of load space. So now, of course, I'm in the back of the Volvo V60, of which, I mean, bearing in mind I'm only 5'9", but that is in the seating position that I've just been driving in, and I've got loads of leg room. I'd say you'd quite comfortably get the 4 adults in this car. 5 adults might be a bit of a squeeze on a longer journey, but certainly not uncomfortable. So that is my review of the Volvo V60 R-Design nav that we've just taken into stock with the T4 engine. I hope you enjoyed the video and hope to again do some more reviews. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.